This video, we're going to go through things that we've done wrong so you don't make the same mistakes that we've done. Or if you have made those mistakes, know that you're not the only ones making them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty that have done what we've done.
And I know what you'd be thinking. You'd be thinking, Alan, they write the plans for other people to do. Yes. And sometimes the people who write things and give people advice are the worst people at following their own advice. And for some of those things, yes, I am. And in this video, I'm going to explain why I'm not good at following some things I advise. But I think a lot of people will relate to it when I say why I do what I do. And then people are like, yeah, I do that. And then they'll also go, yeah, and it doesn't work either.
I'm definitely more the cautious one. You're the one that is a nutter.
Part of the issue I'll start off with is I'm not 20. I'm not going to get
Now
away.
reveal your actual age in case
44.
some might be thinking you look 20.
44. I've got a bit of a background of doing some exercise. I haven't come into all of this brand new and I've just started exercising late on in my life. But certain elements of it are very different to what I'd have trained before. So we'll start off with, when you get into Hyrox, you're going to start running more. Over half the event of Hyrox is running.
And we knew we needed to do that.
I was worse than you. I still am worse than you. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I run. My first run was kind of run a kilometre. But one of the biggest mistakes that I'd say I made once I built my running up a bit is running in the wrong trainers.
I got shin splints as well.
You got shin splints. Yeah. I've got issues with my knee. And then you're thinking, is this just because we're doing more training? Yeah. As soon as I saw somebody and they did a gait analysis on me, they said, look, just try putting in this insole. And it was literally a £10 insole of Amazon. My pain near enough instantly went.
Whereas I bought the insoles and put it in my trainers, and ow, it hurt more. But I have so you can buy trainers now that are for over pronation.
Pronation, yeah.
Yeah, so I buy them, and then you just get neutral ones, don't you? And then put the insole in.
No, I was on my favourite ones. I still get the ones for over pronation. I've got the same ones as you. Yeah. And I still put the insole in.
Oh dear.
And I find that,
there you go.
I find that works nice for me. Some people might be going, well, you should be able to fix the issue. Look, I'm 44. A fix for me is that £10 insole so I can keep running and doing a bit. Certainly for anybody who's new getting into this, I had my gait analysis done by physio, but there's a sports shop called Up and Running. I think they're all over the country. They do gait analysis and then they advise you what trainers to buy. So there are places you can get it checked. And if you are going to take up doing more running, it's definitely worth getting done because you want to be running in the right trainers.
And put it this way, I can only speak for me, but I know you did. We hated running at the beginning, but the more you tell yourself that you hate it, the harder it is. And now we ran yesterday, for example, on Saturday, which we did a 90-minute run. I think you did slightly less because of the recovery stuff, but I never thought I'd run that far. But I also think we did run, so we didn't do it too steady. It's another thing, doing too many miles quickly, even though we don't do loads of miles. But for us, from nothing to jump into trying to do 12 kilometres, I think we did it too quick.
Yeah, and even then, I'd say we built it up quite slowly. We weren't increasing it more than 10% a week.
No, well, maybe a little bit.
It was still too much for what we could do. So,
us amateurs trying to be athletes.
Yeah, first issue that we did was wearing the wrong trainers. Second issue that we did was thinking, just build it up, build it up, build it up, keep adding on more.
No days off, because we trained, when you used to do weights, you can easily do 6 days of training and weights. So when you then add in weights and running around and fast running and slow running, thinking you could do that in 6 days, very different. Some weekends, when I look back, we were exhausted. We had no social life for ages. I don't know if anyone can relate to this, because we just wanted to chill on the sofa, our legs up. I thought, this is no life. Unless this is, tell us, comment below if you're feeling a little bit like, because we want to beat our times that much. I think we need to change our focus slightly, but I'm that bothered about times, which is probably a negative, another failure.
Yeah, well,
constantly worrying about time.
A lot of the issues that we've created ourselves is that real desire to want to do better and better and better. And I think everybody else will be out there thinking the same. You always want to beat your time. You want to progress. You don't want to spend 3 or 4 months training and then not be any better. So then it's too easy to go, when you go, oh, I don't feel I'm fully recovered. I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
You do that really. You're terrible for that.
I'll give a good example of something else though, and this is about training at the level that you can repeatedly do rather than what your body can do. I'd say my mind's quite tough when it comes to training. I can push hard in training. In fact, I can push harder than what my body will let me do. So I'm probably a bit the opposite. Everybody's like, oh yeah, you can always do more than what your mind lets you do. No, I'll push myself past that bit. So I'll give you an example. VO2 max training, the classic training protocol for it is you train for 4 minutes, you rest for 4 minutes, you do it 4 times. I was doing that and I pushed myself for 4 minutes.
Yeah, but I'd say to you, what did I say? Oh my God, because in theory, I am a little bit of a better runner. You're probably faster at a sprinter than me at shorter stuff. But I knew that we had that 4 runs to do, but we had an extra Hyrox session to do for like 20 minutes after it. So I know not to go at speed 16, 17. I need to be around 15, which I thought Steve would do the same. And I was like, what speed are you doing it at? He was like 16, 16.5. I was like, what are you doing? And I could see steam coming off his back while you were sprinting like mental.
I'd do the 4 minutes, and really, if I look at it, the speed would possibly quite be right. As in the first minute didn't feel too bad, second minute was all right, then third minute thinking this is horrendous, and then by the fourth you're just trying to get through it. That's pretty much how a VO2 max session should be to develop yourself. The issue comes, and this is what my issue was, I'd do the 4 sets and I'd be wiped out. I'd push myself then, but I'm looking at it going, well, that's my priority of this session. So if the rest of the session I can't work as hard, fine. That I didn't really see as an issue. The issue is then when I come to do it again in a week's time.
And I could do it because I stuck to my lower speeds.
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm struggling. But I'm pushing myself. I'm finishing the 4 minutes. I'm sitting on the end of the treadmill.
Yeah, looking dying. Grey. But I also think at the time, though, I thought maybe I'm not pushing myself enough. So it could have turned around and actually I could have got at speed 16 and a half and you could have been fine through it. You've got to try these things. From what I read up, you shouldn't be almost killing yourself on a training session. I don't think. I could be wrong.
Well, I think you should be pushing yourself, but pushing yourself what you're capable to.
Yeah.
If
I think you'd go above that.
Yeah,
quite a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going above it because I couldn't recover from it. But if somebody was younger and pushed, that's how hard you're going to push yourself. So what you need to be thinking is being in it for the long game, not the short game.
Yeah.
So if I'm pushing myself that hard, it's fine for that short game of that session, but for even the long game, and even when I say the long game, I mean the following week.
Yeah.
Not even 2 years' time. I mean the following week. I can't repeatedly do that and keep doing it because I just can't recover from it. I do a hard session. I work that hard that the following day when I do an easy session, that easy session doesn't even feel easy because I'm just somewhere near not recovered at all, which you're not going to recover straight away. But I'm then trying to do an easy session and my heart rate's high. It's because I'm trying to work too hard for what I'm capable of doing and really what I'm capable of recovering from. I think I've pushed myself to the point now where I'm going to have to actually take some time off because even on the easy runs when I'm rested, my heart rate's higher than it was 8 months ago.
Yeah, that's not good, is it? I always think ahead. I'm probably terrible for that. I know what we're doing in 2 weeks' time on our plans. I like to plan ahead, know what I'm doing. You always live in the moment, don't you? You're like, you won't look at your sessions to that morning, for example. And he's like, why are you looking at it now? So there's good points and bad points.
It depends what you can do with it. It wouldn't change how I train for it, even if I knew what.
Well, you need to change that slightly.
I know I need to change now, but I don't need to look at what I'm doing 2 weeks down the line.
Whereas I've learned you don't have to look at too much ahead because it gives me anxiousness and knowing that it's going to be a hard session, whereas you're pretty chilled going into it, which is probably why you could probably go that bit further because you think, looks all right on paper, let's go.
But
4 minutes.
Think most people, if you're doing a hard session, you should feel nervous before it's going to be.
Yeah, well, I do on all of them.
People just go through the motions of training. So there's a big scale to things. There's people who just go through the motions and not develop at all.
No, what's the point?
Or people who are at the far end going push, and then either getting lots of niggling injuries or not being able to recover, or worse still, you look at your MyZone watch and you go training status, unproductive.
Oh yeah, yours does say that. Let me look what mine says. Let us know if you've got, mine's maintaining. So mine's always only maintaining. It's been productive quite a lot recently, which is good. And recovery. Whereas I didn't even know there was an unproductive.
Nor did I.
Till Steve said, I keep getting unproductive.
And this unproductive isn't because I'm not training, because I am training. This unproductive is because I'm not recovering from anything now that I'm doing. Even if it's something easy. My body's like going,
please don't.
Get lost, get a grip. Yeah. My sleep's decent, my food's decent enough.
Well, I don't know.
Could be better. like anything, everything could be better. Yeah, but again, I'm not a professional athlete.
No.
I'm not going to live my life to that degree.
No.
That I may
want to, though. I want to, though, but I know it's hard.
You just have to eat a bag of chocolate every Saturday.
I'm terrible.
So it's getting the balance of what you're happy with doing and what you're going to change. If you're not prepared to change everything to be perfect, maybe you just can't train as hard as you want to try and train. And that's what it is in my case. Another thing to make sure that you do, and I'm guilty of not doing this as well, is putting in more deload weeks. So do your 8-week block of training, then do a deload week before you then do your next block of training. That deload week can be like a transition phase. So what you can either do a lower level of the first block that you've just done, or a lower level of the next block you're going to go into. Either way, it wants to be less volume and less intensity with the training that you're doing. One, it gives your body a chance to rest and recover and adapt from what you've done. And that's the key. Your body is only capable of adapting from what you can recover from. So if you do loads and loads of training, you just end up doing this. When you train, you're always going to do that, but then you recover and then you go higher. And then you get fitter and fitter and fitter. If you go train hard, not fully recovered, train hard, unproductive.
Do you reckon that's what's happened to you then?
100%.
But another thing that does help us, and it's another investment, is obviously massages. I think we're going to learn so much about doing these competitions over the next 5 years. I say 5 years. We've only done it for a year and a half. We'll look back at this and go, do you remember when we used to train like... I've had training sessions crying, I think, because it's been that hard a week, especially when you work as much as we work and we've got kids and all busy lifestyles and a house to run and stuff like that. It is a lot.
Yeah. You have to make your training fit with the lifestyle that you've got. And that might be training 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. It depends on what else you've got going on. Some of the football players I train for, once you finish training, they've got nothing else to do for the rest of the day. My advice to them would be, if you can go home and have a sleep, brilliant.
Why don't you do that then?
Because I don't want to do that.
Anyway.
There's different ways of recovering, and there's different things you can use. And the key with any recovery is using it at the right time for you and using different variations from it, so you actually get the benefits from it rather than doing the same thing and your body gets less from it because it gets accustomed to it.
Let us know if this is like some of the things you can relate to.
Who else is
and give us any advice, because I'm interested in this subject, to be honest. Anyway, thanks for watching.